We live in a world that tells us more is always better. More followers, more clients, more goals. But what if the real success is learning when to say, that's enough? I'm Saundra Kandler, and today we're talking about the freedom that comes when you finally stop chasing and start choosing. We have officially entered the era of enough. For years, we were told that success was about more. More followers, more clients, more income, more hustle, more proof that we were doing it right. And for a while, I believed that story too. I lived it. I chased every opportunity, said yes to everything that looked good on paper, and measured my worth by my productivity. I was successful, but I was tired. I was grateful, but I was drained. Then I hit a wall that forced me to stop and ask, what if the next level isn't about more, but about enough? Enough doesn't mean we stop growing. It means we start growing with alignment. It means we redefine success on our own terms, God's terms, not the world's. So let's talk about what enough really looks like in this season of leadership in life. Enough is a decision, not a destination. I used to think enough would come after I achieved something else, and then something else. After I hit the next goal, after I earned the next promotion, after I made a little more money, or lost a little more weight, or proved a little more worth. But enough isn't something that you arrive at. It's something you decide. You decide that who you are today is valuable. You decide that what you've built matters, even if it's still in progress. You decide you can honor your pace without apologizing for it. Because when you stop chasing more, you start creating meaning. And that's the shift that changes everything. Enough requires boundaries. Let's be honest. Boundaries are spiritual. They protect what's sacred. And if you're a high capacity woman, people will always ask you for just one more thing. One more meeting, one more favor, one more project. But if everything matters, nothing does. I had to learn that saying no doesn't make you less kind. It makes you more consistent. And people really appreciate that. It allows you to say a deeper yes to what God's actually asking of you. So here's a reflection for you. What's one boundary you need to honor this month so your peace becomes non-negotiable? Write it down and honor it. Because boundaries are how we tell our time, our family, and our future that they matter. Enough restores your ROI, return on impact. One of my favorite things to teach inside the Legacy Collaborative is that every business has three kinds of ROI. Return on investment, what you earn, return on impact, who you serve, and return on influence, the ripple your leadership creates. When you lead from enough, those three finally align. You stop hustling for numbers that don't fulfill you and start focusing on impact that does. You become magnetic, not because you're everywhere, but because you're anchored. Your influence grows because people can feel that you're not performing, you're present. That's what the era of enough is about. Influence through integrity. Enough creates expansion through rest. Here's the paradox. Rest doesn't slow you down. It multiplies your effectiveness. When I finally gave myself permission to rest, real rest, my creativity exploded. I started hearing new ideas from God again. I saw new opportunities that weren't visible when I was running. In Exodus, God doesn't say, work until you collapse. He says, rest and I will bless your work. So when you rest, you're not being lazy, you're being obedient. Rest is a radical act of faith that says, I trust God enough to stop. Enough requires redefining winning. For years, I defined winning by performance. Now, I define it by presence. Winning is leaving the office on time and eating dinner with your kids. Winning is showing up to your morning quiet time before your first email. Winning is building a business that serves your life, not the other way around. If you're like me, someone who's led teams, coached others, built something from nothing, you know how easy it is to attach your identity to output. But your value isn't in what you produce. It's in who you become, and it starts with who you are. So today, I want to invite you to ask yourself a new question. What would my business look like if I already believed I was enough? Would you delegate differently? Would you lead with more grace? Would you finally take that trip, start that project, or build that boundary? That question and your answer will tell you everything. Here's what I know for sure. We're entering a new era of leadership. One where peace is power, purpose is profit, and alignment is the new ambition. Where women don't just build empires, they build legacies. And that's why Reflect Like a CEO exists, to help you lead with clarity, courage, and conviction in the era of enough. I'm Saundra Kandler, and this is Reflect Like a CEO, the space where we grow through real conversations about faith, leadership, and alignment. If this message spoke to you, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay connected. And when you're ready to take these principles deeper, to design a business and life that feel whole, grounded, and purpose-driven, come join me inside the Legacy Collaborative. That's where we turn clarity into strategy and calling into impact. I'm so glad you're here. Let's build your legacy together.